What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Homertown Hockey. It's not a dress. My name's Phil Bittner. I'm joined with Colton Gogger.
What's going on?
And Trenton Fuller.
I won a pocket pussy in a claw machine for 50 cents today.
Okay. Part of me assumes that's a joke. Part of me doesn't know what you do with your days.
Oh no, that really happened.
Where was this at?
Wait, well,
At Beer Stew, where I work.
Oh, okay.
No free ads.
they have no free ads. Do they have pocket pussies in their machine?
It was a machine that they brought over from a bar in downtown Davenport.
Wait, you work at
apparently
Beer
didn't
Stew
clean
again?
it up. Oh, I haven't stopped working there.
I was just shitting on him the other day.
Oh, trust me, I do it all the time.
I didn't even realize that.
He
Oh,
told
yeah.
me this. He told me the story about the racist fuck who works there.
Yep,
So-
that's definitely a thing.
Yeah, so let's talk about the biggest
Well-
news in America this week. The World Junior
Yeah, Team
Championships.
USA won gold.
Celebratory
Is
that
riots
else
got a
is
little
news?
bit out of hand, if I say so myself.
Oh my god!
How do we know that those weren't all Canadians? Just mad that they lost.
I don't know, man. When I first heard that a bunch of angry fucking racists stormed the Capitol, I thought that, like, Boston fans were taking the Chara news rougher than I expected.
He did it! He did it! Trent, I want you to know he's been sitting on this joke for at least 3 days.
Just waiting for you.
Hey, it's a good joke. It's a good joke. I'd laugh at it. I'd laugh at it if I wasn't still upset about Chara.
The best part is he's like, I got one in the tank.
Just
Jesus.
holding it in his back pocket.
Oh, it's even
Oh,
better
oh.
when we tell everyone that.
Oh,
You ruined the kayfabe.
rip.
Yeah, Team
All right.
USA won.
Yeah, Team USA won junior gold up in Edmonton in the bubble. Trevor Zegras from Team USA was named the tournament MVP. He is a Ducks prospect. Him and 6 other players for the U.S. and Canada took a private flight out of Edmonton that night to meet their respective teams and camps. That would be Zegras, Drysdale went to Anaheim, and then Byfield, Bjornfoot, and Kaliev, and Turcotte went to the Kings camp. Obviously, they're quarantining and stuff. Kind of don't know why they went because they're not going to be on the ice till middle of next week.
Yeah.
I mean, the
And
faster
so-
you get there, the faster you get to start quarantining.
Yeah, that's true. But rumor is that Ducks are going to bring Zegras in right away.
They've already called him up
I'm not
before, haven't they?
surprised.
That's weird that I
Um,
even, like, really know who he is then.
He's been super hyped for a very long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Byfield's obviously gonna. I think they already announced that he's gonna start
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
That's not surprising.
No, it sounds like the Kings are gonna be a little slower with guys like Kaliev, Turcotte, and Bjornfoot, just to see what they want to do with them. If they want to send them to the AHL or send them back to their respective junior teams.
Oh, they gotta be careful, because there's a lot to lose in LA right now.
Right.
There's real high stakes.
Trent, did you watch any of the tournament?
I watched the replays. I don't have the NHL Network at home, but I got to watch it at work. You know, because we're dead. But yeah, I watched the bronze medal game and I watched the gold medal game, and I don't know what got underneath the USA, but they fucking killed it.
Yeah,
It didn't look like they weren't even playing Canada.
Right. It was weird to see the U.S. team absolutely take it. They took the play right to the Canadians.
It's good to see Canadians across the board as fans being like such good sports about it.
Has nothing to do with an oil barrel being brought out on the ice.
Oh
after
my
the game.
god. That is such not a big deal that people are getting upset about.
I know, and everybody saw it and just assumed what it was, and then they had to come out. They had to release a statement basically being like, not a trash can.
I thought it was cooler when it was a
tournament.
trash can. Who gives a fuck? I don't understand why that's a big deal.
They lost. They are trash.
Yeah. Should have been a fucking toilet. Moving on.
They should have just put a picture of socialized healthcare and see how they reacted.
Probably the same.
I'm a little lost on this one.
Because Canada has free healthcare, and
Yeah.
socialism usually scares Americans.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
See?
Let's get away from politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, we fell apart there.
Corey Crawford took his ball and went home today. He informed the Devils and the rest of the NHL that he'd be retiring. Crawford spent a better part of 13 years with the Blackhawks organization, winning 2 Stanley Cups in 2013 and 2015. His third all-time on the team's win list with 260 wins in 488 regular season games. He signed a 2-year, $7.8 million contract with the Devils in October. Surprising move from Corey.
Is it?
I mean,
I guess it's kind of surprising after he signed a deal, but coming in, like,
Yeah, that's
that's
really
going into the
only
bubble, if
surprising.
anyone told you Corey Crawford wouldn't be playing at the beginning of this season, you wouldn't be surprised.
I
think
agree.
it's funny. I think it's funny that Taves is out, Crawford retired, Seabrook is pretty much out, Duncan Keith turned into Jesus. So, literally almost everybody that last year, like the core of the Blackhawks, the only one that stayed there consistently was the one that I thought would retire.
Yeah. Duncan Keith looks like Scott Stapp for no reason.
No. Yeah. Just out here looking like the dude who you knew who was a legend in high school but got drug problems afterwards. And then shows up to open skate and everybody's like, yo, that dude was the truth.
Was.
That's really oddly specific. I feel like you know a guy like this.
Yeah, it's called my uncle. Not even a joke. Kid got scouted in high school to go play the big time, and then, yeah. Anyways, getting off my family trauma.
Yeah, you'll have that.
I think it's interesting that Corey signed a 2-year deal in the middle of a pandemic, and then got a week away from the start of the season and said, essentially, he's like, yeah, I think it's still a little too difficult for me to go out there and play.
He saw what was going to be playing in front of him and got scared. He's like, I'm going to get way more concussions.
He was not set up to have a very good time behind that team for sure.
And part of me wonders if the Devils had asked him to mentor Mackenzie Blackwood a little bit, and he was just like, that's not why I got brought in.
Yeah.
That's always a probability.
So,
That seems
there's
like
that,
a
but
pretty big mess up in communication leading up to that deal.
mm-hmm.
Well, at least for the Devils, the over 35 rule is dropped in the new CBA, so he won't have to be paid or count against the cap.
Right, exactly, which is good for the Devils, but also bad because now they're absolutely going to have to bring in somebody or just roll with Mackenzie Blackwood as their one, which isn't a terrible thing.
Yeah.
But
it's not good for this
a lot
year.
Of pressure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure to put on a young kid.
He's a young kid. He's young. How old is he? He's only like his second or third year in the league.
Yeah.
So
he's also, that team's bad enough that I feel like he can play a lot of games with them, and there's still not really much pressure on him. No one's expecting him to like do good really for that team to win. It's not like he's really letting people down if they suck, because that's what everyone expects.
Yeah, I don't think there's any pressure on him at all. Dude went 22-14 last year. He'll be fine. Like, I mean, that's a lot to jump into when I don't think you were expecting it. But also, I mean, that's the kind of shit that's going to happen this year.
Yeah, this is going to be such a weird season. We're already starting to see it this week.
Yeah. We'll move on to our next item, which is Matthew Barzal finally got a deal. He gets a 3-year, $21 million deal. That's a $7 million AVA. He was a restricted free agent, but he had shown up to New York and was quarantining, ready to go. He just wasn't signed. Led the Islanders in 60 points in 68 games last year. Looks like the real deal. Looks like a cornerstone of that franchise. Weird that it took that long to get a deal done for that guy.
Yeah, well, and for that deal.
Right, for a 3-year deal, it's weird.
The deal's pretty good for both sides. Like, Barzal gets, $7 million's pretty good. He's probably worth more under normal circumstances, but it's a good price for the Islanders, and for him, it walks him right to when the cap freeze ends.
What do you think, Trent?
Exactly what Phil said.
Word.
Yeah, I saw that he was talking to somebody, and he said that he never had a doubt that he was going to be back on the island. So
I mean, he was already there.
That big of a deal.
I think it's more of a big deal in the fact that it was just like he said he wants to be here. He knows he wants to be here. Just sign the kid. And I think everybody's a little confused that it's a 3-year deal.
Yeah, and also people get a little on edge when it comes to the Islanders re-signing their number one centers. It's a bit of a sensitive issue for them.
Hey, he scored in the Maple Leaf scrimmage today.
Did he?
He was the first goal in the scrimmage.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Yeah, our other slowly over the weeks developing restricted free agent situation's a little hairier, the Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Yeah. So at first, Pierre did not show up to Columbus. Just said, I'm not coming. And everybody was like, okay. And there was really no news, and Columbus was like, yeah, we're in contact with him, but he won't come to Columbus. And then out of nowhere on January 3rd, he signs a 2-year, $10 million deal.
Sign and trade.
Well, that's the thing. So according to Pierre LeBrun, a number of teams have already contacted the Blue Jackets about a trade, and it seems like the one that has the most steam behind it is the Ducks.
Oh boy.
So, yeah.
That's rough for...
Who would they even send over?
There's no... I haven't...
Zegras.
Yeah.
Danton Heinen? It won't be back if he got put on waivers.
Yeah, I don't know. They're a terrible
Tell you who
team.
else it's not going to be. It's not going to be David Backes.
Yeah.
Real unceremonious end to a pretty good career.
Right. But yeah, there's still, it seems, the prevailing theory that I seem to see is that yes, he signed, but the deal is literally just for a sign and trade because he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
He essentially said in a Zoom interview, I'm committed to Columbus for the time that I have here.
Seems like the right thing for a young player to say.
Right. But everybody seems to think he's going to be moved, and there's like 3 or 4 teams that are seriously interested, and the Ducks are the leader in the clubhouse right now.
Throw it out there. Detroit Red Wings.
That wouldn't hurt for the Red Wings.
It'd be a pretty solid tandem up top, him and Larkin.
Yeah.
Be two
That's gonna
really
be the
solid
question.
two-way centers at the top of your lineup. For what's Larkin make, like 6-7 million?
Something like
No
that.
idea.
You could
Probably in that area.
those two combined for like the price of one really high-scoring center.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't prepared for Dylan Larkin to be brought up tonight, so I have no idea what he makes.
Yeah, that's fair. It's not often I find myself sitting around thinking about Dylan Larkin.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Miranda's
yeah,
dying in
I
the
think that-
background, and it's super picking up on the mic.
Oh yeah, I can hear it. But you guys think he gets moved?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it, and yeah.
Even if it's not before like the season starts, he'll be traded before it ends.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
To the Canadians.
Because I didn't see it. There was no like player. As from what I saw, there was no like. It was not like a 2-year deal with a player option after one. It was just like a straight up 2-year, 10 mil.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it kind of thing.
Yeah,
All right.
It's a good deal, though. It makes it, easy to get a pretty good return on that trade.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the money's not bad. Like, there are teams that can eat a 10 mil, like it's not, that 100% tells me it's a sign and trade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're not going to sign, just to use Matty Barzal, you're not going to sign him to a 3-year, $21 million deal as a sign and trade. You're going to give some teams something to work with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, should we move on and talk about good old the COVID-19?
What? Oh, yeah. And how it relates to hockey. I was like, no, I don't want to just talk about COVID-19. What? Yeah,
I thought
no,
you were
let's do
confused
that.
about the fact. I thought you were saying what is COVID-19, and I was going to be like,
Is this something I should be aware of?
never heard of this COVID-19 you speak of.
Is there some disease going around? I don't know. I don't ever see anyone anymore.
Never heard about it.
Last 12 months.
I just thought everybody decided to jump on this mask bandwagon with me.
I'm just trying to make them come in.
Right. No, arguably the biggest news of the last couple of days is the Dallas Stars have 8 total members, so 6 players and 2 staff. 2 staff have tested positive for COVID-19 this week. That's going to push their start date back to at least January 19th.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Does it mean that they forfeit all of the games that they were supposed to play?
I haven't, from what I see, it's just
rescheduling.
Tough shit.
They're going to have 20 back-to-back games.
Yeah.
Right.
They're just going to have a week where they play all the games that they're missing.
The NHL did build in some days towards the back end of schedules for missed dates.
Yeah.
And kind of like the NFL did. And the start of the playoff, the start date for the playoffs is like pending. So it's not a hard date. They have it set, but they didn't say like, if you don't get this many games in by this date, tough shit. They just said, hey, we want to start it around this date.
It's a bold strategy.
Yeah. But, so the news with that is the names of the players and staff members who tested positive are not going to be released. So under the CBA, if it happened in training camp, they don't have to publicly declare who it was until the start of the regular season.
You know, one of them was Tyler Sagan.
He's not with the team though. He's rehabbing.
Ah, yeah.
I retract my statement.
But there have been rumors like that going around. People are trying to figure out, but there's absolutely no media access to the Stars right now. I think outside of some PR stuff, but even Dallas writers are just like, we have no idea who it was.
The
We
one
don't know
time
what to
that
tell
the
you.
media is interested in Dallas and there's no availability.
Right.
This is what a year.
Right. What a wild year. Some other news with that is that the Penguins also had to cancel their practice and scrimmage today due to COVID-19 concerns. Phil, what say you?
Oh, it's best to play it safe, and they have a game coming up, but it's just Philly. They can take a day off.
Jesus Christ.
Interesting.
And then Columbus canceled practice on Thursday because they had 19 players out with potential COVID-19 exposure, and then today 18 of those 19 players were back at practice.
Well, that's good.
So it seems like whatever they had is just a potential contact tracing thing. So this year's gonna get weird.
That's for damn sure.
Mm-hmm. While we're talking about COVID-19, let's just run through the changes to the NHL protocol for that. So basically, it's kind of the same thing as the bubble was, where you can't play till you have 2 negatives. And then the biggest change is that if you are deemed a close contact to a positive case, it's 1 negative, but you have to have no symptoms and no fever for 2 days.
It seems fair.
Yeah. So it's aimed to get the NHL is aiming to not have major players, like blocks of players missing at a time for contact tracing.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good move because there would be teams that would be in big trouble.
Yeah.
Well, every team would be in big trouble if they had some really hard contact tracing rules. But yeah, no real major changes. The people are saying the biggest change is that all coaches and staff on the bench during games are required to wear a face mask. This is implemented due to not being in a bubble where they can control the environment at which the players are in.
And also, there's still going to be no fans, so you can still hear the coaches scream and yell.
Right.
Now you just can't read their lips.
Right. So, a lot of people are expecting that come playoff time, if COVID numbers are still really high around the U.S., there's still the possibility. People are like, there's no chance there is another bubble, but there's a possibility. So
more bubble hockey.
Yeah.
Oh, they would
Where
love
this
that.
bubble be? I feel like they'd have to do it in Canada again.
I
They'd
think
have to.
Edmonton is pretty much established, so definitely it'd probably just be the same Toronto and Edmonton. Or wait. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do Toronto, Edmonton because they're doing the same World Juniors again. They've pulled off 2 bubbles in the last 6 months in Edmonton, with no confirmed cases in it.
Right. So then, what do? Like, have a 2-week gap for everyone to quarantine before the playoffs kick off?
Essentially, it's we'll cross that bridge when we get there from the NHL right now.
Boy.
That's a great way to go into it.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hate like the NBA's model of releasing the first half of the schedule and saying we'll figure it out when we get there. I kind of wouldn't have minded if the NHL would have just scheduled like the first 30 games and then made some decisions based on where they were at.
Yeah, I wouldn't have hated that either, but they seem to have built. I mean, yes, there are a lot of back-to-backs in this schedule, but they did build in enough days off and enough, they built in enough workaround for them to get have some wiggle room.
Plus, they still got a schedule against the NBA for when they play in their own arenas.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a mess. There's also just hoping that everyone survives the season. The way it's just gonna be such a grind of a schedule.
Well, that's what the Black Aces are for. Or what are they calling it? The
Taxi Squad.
Yeah.
Black Aces. September Aces. What else we got here? The NHL, they got sponsors for the divisions. You have the Scotia North Division, the Honda West Division, Discover Central, and the Mass Mutual East. All the reports say this is a one-off for this year as a way for the NHL to offset revenue and losses in revenue in 2020 and 2021 due to the potential for minimum fan attendance, seeing as that the NHL makes most of its money off gate revenue, not TV like the NBA or NFL.
And I'm sure that after this season, they'll see all the money they made and decide that they don't want it anymore. I'm sure this is a one-off, just like the helmet ads. Did we really talk about the helmet ads even?
I was gonna bring that up next.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any problem with it.
My problem is I don't have any problem with it. I think it's a brilliant idea in a way because every league is going towards this.
Yeah.
It's going to be happening in 2 years in the MLB. It's already happening in the NBA. It's coming. Like it's going to happen. There's going to be some sponsorship on every team. I do think some teams pulled it off better than others.
Yes.
Penguins and Predators aside.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, it was bound to happen. Would I prefer a little jersey patch on the shoulder or on the sleeve? Obviously, don't hate the helmet thing. I think a lot of players are like, it's my helmet. It's not part of my superstition.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not.
You don't want them getting too active with their helmets.
You have one dude that's really anal about where his logo stickers are. I'm not scoring tonight. It's crooked.
And one guy that needs it to be crooked.
That's me.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Again, like I said, teams pulled it off better than others. Get used to seeing your favorite sports have sponsorships physically on the players.
Yep.
As long as it doesn't go the way of Europe, where you can't even tell which is the team's logo.
It will eventually, but by that time we'll have gotten used to it step by step, and we won't care by then.
By that time, we probably won't be doing this podcast.
Oh, I will. You guys won't be. You guys will be long gone. I'll be hosting it with Don Cherry.
Jesus.
My best
Don
buddy.
Cherry will be gone.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll. For his sake, hopefully before that happens, he'll have a heart attack if it happens while he is still alive.
Probably.
Actually, the NHL announced that there will be outdoor games this year, and they'll be in Lake Tahoe. It's going to be Colorado against Vegas on February 20th, and then the next day it's going to be Philly at Boston on the 21st. They are going to be played on the 16th, 17th, and 18th hole of the famous Edgewood Tahoe Resort Golf Course, which is the home of the really popular Pro-Am tournament every year. And as somebody whose team was supposed to have a Winter Classic this year, I think that's fucking bullshit.
So these teams get special jerseys for these games too, I'm assuming?
They haven't announced any of the marketing stuff with it yet.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming not, because that's a really quick turnaround.
They'll probably both just wear their reverse retros.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I would guarantee you.
It would look kind of weird watching yellow and orange going all over the ice, though.
It wouldn't look bad. Like Colorado and Vegas would be easy because Colorado's is already white and Vegas is red. So.
Well, there's nothing you can do with those red Vegas jerseys to make them not look good or not look bad. They're gonna look bad no matter what the other team wears.
I kind of love them.
I'm sure you do. You like some of the ugliest fucking jerseys.
Dude, that 90s, it's that awful 90s vibe. It's that International Hockey League vibe. It's sick.
I'll give you that. It's still
that gold jersey they debuted this year, hideous.
Ooh. The gold one kind of grew on me.
There's not much the Knights can do with black, gold, and red as their color scheme.
And gray.
In gray, yeah. What are they supposed to do?
What are they just call that like an alternate jersey? They don't have a reverse retro because they're not a retro team, right?
Well, no, they just went for like it's the colors of what was their minor league team?
Oh God.
Rattlers?
I know what league they play in, but can't remember what the team name was.
All sorts of things that you just don't plan on having come up.
Nope.
Not your night.
Nope. Never. I don't think they're bad at all. They're called. Well, they had a roller hockey team in the '90s called the Flash.
Oh boy.
There was the Las Vegas Aces in the '90s. Ooh, there was the Ice Dice.
See, that's what they should have gone with.
The Ice Dice.
These jerseys are sick.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine? I feel like that would be not what they want, because that'd just be a cold hand.
Yo.
Well,
yeah.
Guys,
yeah, that does sound like the opposite of what you want. Colton is in a rabbit hole right now. I can see it on his face. He has completely lost track of this episode.
These are terrible.
What is this? The Vegas Ice Dice?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Let's see this. Las Vegas Ice Dice.
Well, while you guys are looking at your
bad.
stuff,
yeah. Sorry.
Some news today from the Bruins.
Ooh, yeah. Let's hear it.
David Pasternak's about to be a papa.
Wow.
That's the news you brought to this podcast.
That's big news.
I'm not even really seeing any jerseys here.
They had to dig a little bit. They're like black and red.
Is Pasta married, or is he just like dumping in random Boston fans?
Pretty sure he's had an old lady since he came over from Czech.
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
All right.
Man.
I am not finding these jerseys.
I'll send them to you later.
We should move on.
What else do we?
Really
what
great
else do we have
audio
here?
content talking about jerseys that even 2 of the 3 of us can't see, let alone the listeners.
Well, here, I got more Bruins news for you, Trent.
Let's go.
Y'all have a new captain.
What? When did this happen?
I don't know. You want to talk about it? Tell us about your new captain.
Well, I will say that Bergeron is the captain now, but before that, Marchand was captain for about 2 seconds. It was a little in-locker room joke. It's kind of funny.
It was a sick joke.
Hey, I laughed. But, no, if it wasn't Bergeron, I don't know who it would have been. So, I'm happy for him. I'm happy that the team has a captain that has pretty much been their captain since he joined the team. Been there for 14 years. I think he deserved it. And I hope he stays more than the 2 years left on his contract.
He's good at hockey.
quite.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that statement. He's pretty good at rolling around a rink.
I've heard of him.
That's important when you name a captain. And my team also has a new captain. The Wild announced Jared Spurgeon would take over the captaincy. I think everybody kind of thought it'd be Zach, but with him waiving his no trade clause last year or 2 years ago,
Like they asked him to.
He apparently said he was a little disappointed, but he understands why they went with Jared.
Yeah.
Spurgeon's awesome, good dude. If it wasn't Parisi, it was going to be Spurgeon. I'm pumped. Jared, I think, is one of the most underrated players in the NHL, and he's a perfect fit to name that guy captain. So,
did you hear
I
about
love it.
Their longest tenured player too.
Yes, now he is officially their oldest tenured player now that Mikko left.
You hear about the rumblings about Tarasenko being not happy about Ryan O'Reilly being named the captain in St. Louis? That kind of
Yeah.
seems like a slightly mistranslated thing from a Russian article.
Well, yes,
Then again, there is a long
it seems
history of
like-
players saying things in Europe that they for some reason think won't get back here and getting themselves in trouble.
Right. I also think Tarasenko may not be generally happy in St. Louis.
Yeah, well, he's always
So-
in pain.
Yeah,
Like,
he's always getting himself hurt.
if I was Tarasenko, I wouldn't be happy, no matter where I am right now. He's that shoulder, I do worry about, how much of a career he has left.
3 shoulder surgeries are not easy to recover from.
Yeah, especially the fucking way that he plays. Yeah, I don't know. That's sad.
Right.
Let's move on.
Yeah, it sucks. I really got nothing left, man. I think we hit all the big news. We're going to throw some dates at you real quick just to keep in mind. So these are some NHL deadlines. So the restricted free agency deadline is February 11th. Contract extension deadline is March 12th. And then everybody's favorite day of the year, trade deadline day, April 12th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, don't think it's going to be as fun this year.
Yeah, no.
Just because,
There might be some big moves.
not
It
with
is
the
a
fact
Monday.
that
I love that it's always a Monday, so I don't work Mondays. I can just sit on the couch and watch the coverage all day.
it's not going to be a big deal this year just due to the fact that players are going to have to quarantine, and then they really, especially for the Canadian teams, the Canadian teams aren't going to trade the Canadian teams, and you're not going to trade interdivisionally.
You don't think Edmonton and Calgary are going to strike something up at the deadline? 255, put it through. McDavid for Kachuk straight up.
Well, that'll be the interesting thing to see if the NHL does allow them to trade outside of their division.
I don't see why they wouldn't, other than the only issue I guess if it's an issue for the Canadian division, they kind of have to do it for everyone. They can't just say that only that division can't trade.
Right. The MLB was able to pull it off because they just said it's open season, but there were no trade. There were essentially no big moves. There was one big move, but that was it. And then the dude ended up getting immediately hurt and having to have Tommy John surgery.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see how the NHL ends up handling that and what they decide to say happens when you get traded this year.
It's going to be a lot of fun watching everything get worked out as it happens.
Literally, that's the feeling I have going into this season. The NHL has the baseline of answers for teams,
Yeah.
but anything past that, they're just if that
Maybe.
happens, good for you. Yeah.
Fuck.
Right. So yeah, I think that's about everything for tonight. We just wanted to get something out, especially with some of the news that like the Stars aren't going to be playing till January 19th. They're in a world of shit with that. You know, some bigger deals like Corey Crawford retiring, all that stuff. We wanted to get it out to you. Anyways, Phil, what's coming down the pipeline for us in the next couple of weeks?
Ugh. Sorry, I yawned for a second. This last minute high energy recording is going great for us.
Hey, it's last minute. It's fine.
So yeah, we're putting this out like right after we record it, which is January 9th, 2021. I don't need to say the year. Tomorrow night we will be releasing our Western Division preview, the 10th. And then we will be recording tomorrow our preseason predictions episode, which will be coming out Tuesday night, the night before the season opens. So, a lot coming out this week.
Oh,
I
yes.
kind of put off putting things up through the week, and so it's all coming out over the weekend.
That's fine, man. Hey, we're getting closer. Like, it's already the 9th. Like, we're 4 days away from games.
I know.
I am so goddamn excited.
In less than 96 hours, the Penguins will have fucking wrecked the Flyers.
Nah, dude.
We'll see.
And you can come see me and get a $3 burger basket from Vans during that game. Free plug.
Yeah, free plug. No free ads. Trent, do you want to give your place a free ad?
No.
We've talked about Beer Stew enough on this podcast. They're cut off.
Too much.
Whatever. All I can say is buy a fucking Red Bull.
See, you don't even have to do marketing. Red Bull sells itself at this point.
And if you need any
Yeah,
steel,
right, it does. Right.
I can plug the steel mill I clean the locker room of.
That you're a janitor at.
They have ads inside the locker room, and it cracks me up because it's like, who is this for? I think if any of our employees for some reason do need a slab of solid steel, that they would think of our company immediately. I don't think they need to be advertised to. They're just at home like, I just can't think of where I could get some steel.
I should go to the... No, I shouldn't go to the place I work for a slab of steel.
Go somewhere else. They got cheaper prices.
Anyways.
All right, we'll come at you soon with another episode. Trent, send us out of here.
My name is Trenton Fuller, and I approve of this message.
Let's get the fuck out of here.